Listen to the words of the risen Christ. Peace be with you. Come see his hands and the wound in his side. Peace be with you. With the eyes of faith, are you ready to see? Peace be with you. Come with all your doubts, for it's time to believe. Peace be with you. Peace be with you.
Well, welcome. Thank you for joining us today. I'm just going to ask you a question. I don't know if you can see this, but what is this? Is this half empty or half full? And the idea, of course, with this illustration is that people are meant to be either one or the other. Now, it's true that we all know positive people who might say that this is half full. And we also know people who are more likely to view the world from a negative perspective and say this is half empty. But I'm sure at different times, even different days, we can have a negative or positive mindset. We might view the world as half full or half empty. But it's a good question for us to ask ourselves. And perhaps another good question is, are our mindset fixed? If we are a more negative person, are we fixed in that? If we're a more positive person, are we fixed in that? Are our mindsets fixed? We've got a number of popular sayings, haven't we, about a leopard unable to change its spots, or you can't teach an old dog new tricks. They all suggest in general that people don't change, their mindsets are fixed. But when it comes to well-being, improving our well-being, I think we all need to be open to changing our mindsets. There are areas in our lives where we need to handle things differently, where we need to take a different approach, where we need to discipline ourselves in a certain way. One writer has said that we can't change anything about our life until our thinking has changed. This is where our changes in life need to start. Battles are won and lost in the mind. So perhaps we need to change our mindset, our way of thinking about a health issue. Perhaps we need to decide for a diet or an exercise or more sleep. Perhaps we need to change our mindset about how we view ourselves, our identity, as we talked about yesterday. Perhaps we need to change our mindsets about what God has called us to do. Perhaps we need to change our mindset about our relationship with God. I'm sure we've all at times said things like, I can't do that. It's just not me. It's not the way I'm made. I've never been able to do that. But can we change? Well, Scripture suggests we can. Paul in Romans says, be transformed by the renewing of your minds. For Paul, people can be changed. Our way of thinking can be changed. And Jesus calls us to be his disciples. And being a disciple means that we follow him. But that means that he expects us to change our mindsets as we journey with him. Let's read some more from Paul. I'm going to read from the letter to the Colossians, chapter 3, 1 to 14. Since then you've been raised with Christ, set your hearts on things above, where Christ is seated at the right hand of God. And set your minds on things above, not on earthly things. For you died, and your life is now hidden with Christ in God. When Christ, who is your life, appears, then you also will appear with him in glory. Put to death, therefore, whatever belongs to your earthly nature, sexual immorality, impurity, lust, evil desires and greed, which is idolatry. Because of these, the wrath of God is coming. You used to walk in these ways in the life you once lived, but now you must also rid yourselves of all such things as these: anger and rage, malice, slander, filthy language from your lips. Do not lie to each other, since you have taken off your old self with its practices and have put on the new self, which is being renewed in knowledge in the image of its creator. Here there is no Gentile or Jew, circumcision or uncircumcision, barbarian or Scythian, slave or free, but Christ is all and is in all. Therefore, as God's chosen people, holy and dearly loved, clothe yourselves with compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. Bear with each other and forgive one another. If any of you has a grievance against someone, well, forgive as the Lord forgave you. And over all these virtues put on love, which binds them all together in perfect unity. Well, Paul here is using the language of change throughout this part of the letter. Put to death. Now rid yourselves. Take off your old self. Put on your new self. And he starts this passage with that line, set your minds. For Paul, as disciples, we can and should change. And of course, in our own strength, we can't change, but God longs to come and join us, to work in us, to work through us, making us more like Christ. So what mindset do you need to open up to be changed? What mindset do I need to change? What mindset change will bring us more shalom, that better sense of well-being? Is there something you know you must change? Perhaps something that you've wanted to change, but maybe you've given up trying in your own strength. Well, why not write it down? Why not bring it to God? Why not ask for his strength and his help? And then you can set your minds on that change. Let's be a people who are ready to have our minds renewed and transformed and set in new ways, in God's ways, in God's strength. May God bless us.
Peace be with you. With the eyes of faith, are you ready to see? Peace be with you. Come with all your doubts, for it's time to believe. Peace be with you. Peace be with you. Let the breath of God now fill me. Wholeness, fullness, life within me. Full forgiveness given freely, I receive as Jesus sends me. Listen to the words of the risen Christ.